Show me the money! Show me the money!
Show me the money. Welcome back to episode 7 of Show Me the Money podcast. We are back with another exciting week of sports betting. It was, I don't know about you guys, it's been a really good week. It's been a really good month. We haven't shared every bet that we've made. However, the bets I've been making behind the scenes have been unreal. I'm up 40 units in the month. Which is unheard of.
I wish.
Get your money,
bro. I wish I was hitting like that. I'm down a little bit. The Texans fucked me last week.
No, I mean playoff baseball has been really good to me. And I hope that we can go over that a little bit toward the end of the podcast. But we're gonna start it off right away. Actually, you know what? I gotta start it off with something else. This is how I started off last week too, so it's only right to do it again this week. First game of the week. Actually, let's go over our wins and losses first. Some of the wins that we had last week from the lock of the week. I had Bama at -1.5. That was a solid hit. UNC demolished their opponent, so that 9.5 covered. Maryland at 23.5, backdoor cover. Nice job by Clark. Rutgers 14.5. Great job, Ty. Our losses were Josh with Notre Dame -6.5, and Washington State.
This guy stinks.
Hey, I was on a 2-week heater, bro. I knew I was gonna lose last week. It was inevitable.
Fair enough. And then
there's no Air Force. I couldn't pick Air Force. I couldn't take my safety blanket.
That's
South Alabama.
And then Parker lost his as well. He had Washington State University at -2.5, which, or actually, I think he had him at +2.5.
Yeah.
So
we miss you, Parker.
Yeah, he couldn't make it to the podcast today. He's got some family stuff going on, but regardless, we will carry on without him. And we're gonna go right into the first game of the week. Right to our Iowa Hawkeyes in Wisconsin and Madison. So this is really going to determine who wins the Big Ten West. And then what that's going to determine is who gets their ass kicked by the Big Ten East when that comes around in that Big Ten championship, because one of these teams is going to get destroyed when that Big Ten championship comes around. What do we think about this game, guys? Wisconsin is a 10-point favorite. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are going into this game.
I'm going to say it. I'm terrified to watch this game as an Iowa fan. As an Iowa fan, it fucking terrifies me.
Yeah,
I mean, so what's to be said about this game? Well, as much of a stinker as it is, and is not going to be much fun to watch for anybody who's not a Iowa or Wisconsin fan, it does have big implications, not only for bowls or for getting into the Big Ten championship game, but, both these teams are the only two with a winning record in the Big Ten West currently. So this side of the conference is just abysmally bad. Next year, it's going to get some life with the Pac-12 guys coming over, and I think that's going to make everybody. I think it's going to step everybody's game up. The Pac-12 runs a much different offensive scheme and less defense, so I mean it's going to be a weird mix to see who picks up their offensive production and how the Pac-12 guys change their defense. But right now, going into Madison, Iowa has to play a sound ball game all the way around. 10 points is a lot of points, but that is a very, very, very tough environment. When Iowa comes to town in Madison, they get up for it. They know the implication. They have smart fans up there. Like, they're going to be there. They're going to be loud. Wisconsin's coming off a win against Rutgers. Rutgers covered. That was my lock of the week. So shout out to Rutgers. But I don't know. It's like both these teams have nothing really great to say offensively. Iowa has the defensive advantage, not allowing the amount of points the Badgers have. The Badgers haven't played as many quality opponents. And by that, I mean Penn State. Other than that, we haven't really either. I don't know. I just know Deacon Hill's going to have to step up. This is kind of a revenge game spot for him, being a transfer from Wisconsin. So, I don't know.
It might be a Deacon Hill masterclass.
He's going to have to do better at protecting the ball. He can't have 2 interceptions. But that being said, his counterpart, Tanner Mordecai, isn't really accurate with the ball either. And we know that there's a special guy who wears number 3 in the Iowa secondary that will take advantage of that. So, I don't know.
First mock draft I saw of the year had Cooper going top 15. So,
wow.
I'll say this: Iowa has the 133rd out of 133 ranked offense in the nation. Iowa has a little bit of an advantage on defense, but I mean it's really not by much. I don't see it. As being an Iowa fan, I like Wisconsin -10. It's just another year of really. I'll watch any game before I watch the Iowa game because I can't stand to watch that bad of football.
I think I'm gonna take Iowa +10 in this. Honestly, I think this game is gonna end like probably 14-10, maybe. It's going to be close. I don't think Wisconsin can cover 10 points.
I kind of agree with you, Clark. These offenses are not good. Big Ten is known for its defense. Let's be honest. We bet the Iowa under every game. There's a reason we bet the Iowa under. It's because they continue to hit it week after week. So I'm going to do the same thing this week. I'm going to bet the Iowa under, and I'm going to bet Iowa to cover because I don't think that there are more than 20 points by either team scored in this game.
Yeah, this is a big spread math game. The total's 34.5, and Iowa's 10-point dogs. So to hit the total and for Wisconsin to cover, they're projecting it to be like a 24-10 game, and that's just not going to happen. Iowa's not going to allow that to happen. This is a total that, Ethan, I think you're going to have to sweat, bro. 34.5. In any other football game, this number is getting pounded for the over.
Mm-hmm. They're not hitting it.
It's the only conference in the nation you can put this total line out there is the Big Ten, and Iowa has to be a part of the game.
Yeah, I won't be touching the total, but I will be taking Iowa +10. No matter what, I think they're going to keep it close, keep it chippy. But, hands up if you're with me, guys. Whose team is the only team in the nation to average more punt yards than offensive yards? The Iowa Hawkeyes, baby. So punting is winning. Punting is winning. We are going to punt our way to a cover. I'm not going to say a victory, but we will punt our way to a cover.
Iowa's the only school in the country that's averaging under 250 yards of offense on the year.
Yeah, to be exact, we're averaging 288.2 punt yards per game and 249.2 offensive yards per game. So, shout out to Torrey Taylor back there with that booming leg. I expect him to get another workout this Saturday in Madison. But I think we get the hell off this game. You can only beat this dead horse so many times. So I think we throw it down there to a little bit more interesting game, but still projected to be, I don't know, not necessarily great. Syracuse is going down and visiting number 4 Florida State. And Florida State's 17.5-point favorites. What do you guys think here?
Yeah, FSU's 4-1 on the year ATS, 4-1 in totals. They're 6th in points, 41st in yards. Their defense is tied 47th in points and 79th in yards. Hughes' offense, they're tied 41st for scoring. They're 48th in yards. And their defense has been their bright spot, if you want to call it that. they're tied 34th in defensive scoring and 55th in defensive yards, but they don't play anyone. Like, they played UNC and they lost 40-7. That's the only quality game they've played all year. I mean, maybe you can call the Clemson game a quality game, but they still lost 31-14 in that one. Syracuse isn't a good football team. North Carolina is a team that's trying to build a playoff resume.
I mean, just going off myself, this number is a little too large. If I'm forced to pick a side, I'm going to Florida State, especially at home. You would like to think this is a spot where they can just, show up, handle business, and cover the spread. But me personally, I don't really have too much of a liking for betting this game.
It's FSU minus 17.5. Let's go with it.
I'm in the same boat as Tyler here. It's a big number, and I don't want to bet it, but if I have to, I'm taking FSU as well.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Same boat. Yeah, I think this is pretty kind of clear-cut game that I think you can get your monies out of.
We had a couple of lines like this last week where it's like, why are we talking about them? It's because they should be free money lines. Just take your free money. Take your minus 17.5 at 110.
Yeah.
When you're 90% of your unit and move on.
Yep, I'm with you guys. It's FSU is obviously a significantly better team. Syracuse has shown that they kind of suck. To put it somewhat nicely, they suck. They especially at home, I don't see Syracuse putting up much of a fight. So give me FSU 17.5.
All right, let's go to the next one here. Cal at number 16, Utah. Again, we don't know about Cam Rising. It sounds like he's not playing. It sounds like they really don't know if he's even going to suit this year. They keep teasing it. He continues to practice, and then they keep coming out and he's not playing. The coach said something on Monday or Tuesday that the reason they keep kind of teasing it and then don't do it is because they don't know till later in the week and they want to give him a full week of prep. So it sounds like if/when he does play, we will know by the time we record. Since we don't know as of right now, I'm assuming he's not, so I don't know who's going to play. They did the quarterback switch 2 weeks ago in the middle of that really, really bad performance. And yeah, I don't know. What's the line? 10.5? I mean,
11.5 with
11.5.
Utah. And I don't care Cam Rising or not. The number is scary at 11.5, but if you got the bank account to play with it, what's the stat we just keep saying over and over and over again? Utah does not lose at home. So parlay piece or however you want to do it, I personally will probably be throwing this as a parlay piece. They're not going to lose at home. It's just not going to happen. I think the streak's going to continue. The 11.5, it could be shaky without Cam Rising. I mean, this Cal team did kind of try to come back and backdoor cover on Washington earlier this year. So they're not necessarily slouches, but they're not the best defensive unit in the country. So I'm going to go ahead and just stay with them as a parlay piece.
They're 80th on defense, like you mentioned, Tyler. Cal's also 2-4 on the year ATS, and they're on a 4-game skid ATS. They won their first 2, haven't won one since. Utah's also leading the nation in third down conversion rate on defense with a impressive 21.2 conversion percentage. And Cal is tied 57th in the nation for offensive third down conversions, and they're only converting 42.1% of their third downs. And they haven't played a defense like this Utah defensive unit yet. I'd honestly be surprised if they cross that 30 mark in third down conversions this week. And that alone kind of puts me on Utah at 10.5 or 11.5 or wherever the game's at.
Yeah. that defense out there is super nasty. So I think they're definitely going to have to rely on them throughout the entire year if Cam Rising continues to not show up. So their offense has been mediocre at best with Nate Johnson under center. I mean, but they've had 2 weeks to prepare for Cal. They had the bye week. They're going to come out here looking fresh legs underneath of them. So I would say be ready for these boys to fly around and ready for Utah to have another packed house and be loud, be rowdy, and cause issues.
The only thing – I'm sorry, Cole, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I agree. Playing in Utah is kind of a different breed. And, you know, the last time that they played them at home, Utah beat the absolute piss out of them, 35-0. In the total, they're 4-2 against them, but they're 3-3 against the spread. I don't know how this game is going to go, but I think what I'm going to do for this game is I'm going to take the under. I think it will be a solid game just for good defense, and it's going to be a rough place to play in where their offense could get either really fucking hot or they're going to stay kind of right, even keel. So I'm taking the under on this game.
Yeah, like Cole said, I have it here in my notes. The only thing that would scare me off of this 11.5 number is Utah going to score 12. I think there's a non-zero chance this game is a 9-0 football game. I'm serious. It could be 9-0 or 10-0. Like, they might not score enough to cover, but I think the under is the biggest lock as far as a total goes this week.
Yeah, I mean, with Utah's offensive struggles and their elite defense against this subpar Cal team, I definitely think the under is in play here. And you're not going to find many Pac-12 totals at 44.5. So I think the books are seeing that as well. So I think that's like a really good look to take at it. If you're not going with Utah covering, maybe you parlay Utah money line in the under or something along that line.
Yeah, this is another one for a parlay builder, just like that FSU line we just talked about. Like, if you don't want to bet these outright, take some of these riskier ones in a parlay, get your odds up, and hope maybe they hit. But let's talk about one of the most exciting matchups so far this year, boys. Let's go number 8 Oregon at number 7 Washington. It's a 2.5-point spread. It's Bo Nix versus Michael Penix Jr., 2 leaders in the Heisman race. This is going to be an electric football game.
Yeah, I think this is easily the, I want to say the best matchup that we've had. Going into it, you know where these teams are. This is not the beginning of the year where teams are finding their place. This is a real shot at which one of these teams deserves a higher spot, maybe even making a top 4 spot.
The winner of this, I think, ends up, as long as they don't lose out, I think the winner of this is the Pac-12 representative in the college football playoff this year. There could be a world where teams make it this year. You know, a lot of people like to shit on the Pac-12 because usually it's like high flying, high scoring, not a lot of defense. It doesn't really look like competitive football. It's just who can score more. But it makes for exciting football to watch, and I think they might be able to get 2 into the playoffs in their last year of existence. Could be fun.
So
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
My thing with this is I am going to go ahead and ride out Washington and ride with Penix Jr. He hasn't done me wrong yet. I guess last week they did struggle with Arizona State, I believe. But
they got me last
it's
week.
like it's another great offense versus a great offense. However, Michael Penix Jr. seems to have that clutch gene. On the other hand, you have Bo Nix, who kind of has a Fugazi Heisman campaign around him up there in the Northwest, whereas Penix Jr. is the current favorite. I think he's going to come out here and solidify his campaign and get that win at home. Washington's no slouch of a barn to play. I honestly think that this game being at 2:30 is criminal. It's great for us. We get to watch it and not have to stay up till midnight.
True.
But this should definitely be primetime television, and it's not. So for me, give me Washington strictly because I don't know if I can trust Bo Nix in the big games.
Yeah.
And I think Penix Jr. stamps his hold on the Heisman this year. I could be completely wrong in that Oregon defense, which is known to be a little nasty, could show their head and, shut me up. But if this game goes the way I think it's going to go, it's going to be a shootout. Washington's going to come out on top. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I either think this is going to be a high-flying affair with points just going up and down the field, or it's going to be a nitty-gritty defensive battle. So go ahead and give me Washington strictly for that reason.
Tyler, you mentioned that Oregon defense, and I agree with you. They're tied 5th in points allowed, and they're 6th in yards allowed per game. But it's kind of fugazi, honestly. I mean, they've played Stanford, Hawaii, Texas Tech, and Portland State. And other than that, they played Colorado, and they made Colorado look like fucking infants. They made them look like a peewee team. But since then, I think a lot of people have kind of cooled on this Colorado team. Like, they're not. People are kind of coming back to earth on them, so it's still like not looking like that impressive of a win. So, are these defensive number fugazi? Who knows? But as we talk, I want to go back to Washington. I've been writing Washington all year, but in my notes when I sat and did some thinking a couple days ago, I took Oregon, and I think I'm gonna have to ride with, stay off my emotional train that I want to hop on and go with, my study.
I was just going to say, yeah, I agree with you, Josh. I'm going to take Oregon here. I think this game's really close. I think either team could squeak it out, but I think Oregon's defense is going to be the reason they win this. And I also wanted to talk about the total here at 67.5. I think there's going to be a ton of points in this game. What do you guys think about that?
So, yeah, I brought that up in our group chat earlier this week, and Tyler and I had a kind of a good back and forth on it, saying how it's either going over 100 or staying under 40. And then I looked at the weather forecast, and this total immediately scared me. They're calling for rain the entire time. So I feel like that could slow down these high-flying, it could force both these offenses to – they're not going to abandon the pass game. They're Pac-12 offenses, but they could kind of bring their passing numbers down. Both these teams can run the ball just fine, and it ends up and if it does end up on the ground, this Ducks team is going to wipe the floor. I mean, you're talking sorry, I just lost it.
Oregon's 8th in the nation.
In what?
Oregon's 8th in the nation in total rushing offense right now.
In total rushing? Okay. Yeah, and Washington, they're kind of far down here without counting. I just lost them again, but they're at 122 yards, I believe. 123 yards averaging. So if this ends up on the ground, it's going to be an Oregon blowout.
So yeah, like we just said, Oregon being a top 10 rushing offense, Washington is 101st. However, do you need to run the ball when you have Michael Penix? I mean, now, yes. If it's raining, it's going to be a downpour, sure. But when it's dry, sunny weather, these boys are just going to sling it around. However, earlier in the year, I watched Washington play a rainy game against Cal, and you know what Michael Penix Jr. did? He fucking spun the rock around. It did not matter to him. They're Washington guys, they're Northwest guys. They play in the rain all the time. I wanted to kick it back for just a second. You guys were talking about, could we maybe see 2 Pac-12 teams here in the playoffs? I don't think so. Strictly because if you look at their scheduling, this conference this year is set up to cannibalize each other. So after this one with Washington, or after this one with Oregon, Washington gets 2 easy opponents, Arizona State, who can be kind of pesky, but then they have Stanford. After that, they have to run the gauntlet to finish the year out. They're at USC. They have Utah at home, and then they have to travel to Oregon State. And then to end the year, last game of the regular season for them, in-state rival Washington State gets to come and knock on their door at home. So This is going to be a stretch for them. If they were to lose this game, let's say, and they go and manhandle their way like the rest of the way through the Pac-12 and beat USC, I don't think this team's out of it. I think the winner of this conference should definitely go to the college football playoffs. The only issue is justifying it to the rest of the country who does not watch Pac-12 football of letting a potential 2-loss team into the playoffs. But this division is stacked. There's so many ranked. They have the most ranked teams in any conference, and they all got to play each other. So that's my 2 cents with it. But for my discussion, I am going to go Washington minus 2.5. I'm locking that in. Not for the week, right, not my lock of the week, but I'm
one more thing on the rushing defenses before we give our picks officially. Oregon not only is the better rushing offense, they're the better rushing defense. They're 20th in the nation in rushing defense. They're allowing 102 yards a game. Washington, they're no slouches. They're 44th, and they're allowing 121.6. So neither rushing defense is awful, but when you couple the fact that Oregon's better in the pass defense and they're just better overall defensively, Tyler said Washington. I'm on Oregon. Clark's on Oregon. Cole, where you at?
I am going to agree with Tyler. I'm going to go with Washington at 2.5. If you look at the matchup in itself, Bonix, Penix Jr., I think the light shines a little bit more towards Washington because he's kind of a player that you kind of see. It's like, okay, he could fuck some shit up, like for in the future at least. But I think this game is going to be a fucking shootout. So I think it's over, and I'm taking Washington 2.5.
All right, E, break this tie, man.
For the 2.5, give me the home team. I'm taking Washington every day.
Oh!
I'll say that it terrifies me betting against the person that I have as my favorite to win the Heisman. I don't like doing that.
I strictly have to ride with Washington this week because I've been the biggest Oklahoma pounder all week long. And I know I wasn't on the show last week, but I had Cash riding with Texas like a fool. Once you find a pay pig, ride with them the entire year. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with Washington. If it bites me in the ass this week, so be it. But I abandoned my pay pig last week. I got to stick with another one this week. So let's head on
for me and UNC.
Yeah, let's head on to another game. This one's going to be an SEC rivalry down here. We got number 20 LSU bringing Auburn and Peyton Thorne down to the Swamp. LSU's a 11.5 point favorite. This game to me is interesting. This LSU team has not been world beaters by any sense. They looked really, really bad to start the year. They've showed some flares. Arkansas played them tough. Where do you guys stand here?
Yeah, LSU scares me, man. They're like, what team's showing up? Is the team that showed out against Mizzou last week going to show up? Or is the team that struggled against Arkansas going to show up? It's like, kind of like you mentioned, they're a 50-50 team. They're an elite offensive unit, and they're basically the exact opposite of Iowa football. They play offense, they don't play defense. They're 113th in points allowed, and they're 124th in yards allowed. Whereas this Auburn team, they have a top 30 defense in both aspects, and they're no slouches on offense. They're 70th in points and 88th in yards.
I'm actually going to take Auburn here to cover 11.5 is what it's at, I think. Yeah, 11.5. I'm taking Auburn. I could dabble on the over maybe, but that's too scary for me right now. That'll be a game day decision, but I'm taking Auburn covered.
This Auburn team covered against Georgia, and we just watched Georgia spank Kentucky.
Well, before that Kentucky game, this Georgia team literally hadn't covered against anybody.
No,
so I lost a fair chunk of change betting on Kentucky to cover there, and then Georgia decided to wake up and stop fucking around. That hurt. For me with this game, if I didn't want to touch FSU and Syracuse, I really don't want to fucking touch this game. I don't want to watch this game. I don't want to hear about this game. I got invited to a tailgate down in LSU for this game, and I said no, thank you. That's not true. I did get invited. I wanted to go. I couldn't go. I would never turn that
This dude
situation down.
hates fun. This guy
Yeah,
fucking hates fun.
I would never turn that down. But no, I'm not going to watch this game. I'm not going to put any of my hard-earned money on this game. It's not going to happen.
Only thing I like about the game is the over. LSU's
That's what I was just going to say.
They're 5-0 on their totals all year. They're doing it basically on their own. I mean, their totals have been in the 50s and 60s all year, and they've been right at 49, 49, 34, 41, and 72, and 24. Those are their point totals this year. I feel like this 60 number is going to get attacked just because, well, maybe not. I mean, if Auburn drags them down and punches them in the gut, maybe not. Now that I'm kind of slowing down on it now, because Auburn goes under. They're 2-3 on totals this year.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this game. Yeah. What going off kind of what Clark was saying is that this game, LSU fucking blows. Every time I bet on LSU, it fucks me up. Every single fucking time. It's happened all goddamn year. My money will never touch LSU until they prove it. So I'm going with Auburn and plus 11.5. I think the over under. I don't know which way that's gonna go, but I'm assuming me liking boring football. I'm going under. Fuck it, we ball. Man, I'm so fucking back, bro. I'm so goddamn back.
I'm like Tyler, man. I'm not touching it. You can't make me touch it. Maybe tomorrow when I'm placing my bets, I get bored and fucking accidentally hit something, but
I think you have to throw Auburn in.
I'm not officially touching it. And
I think you have to throw Auburn in.
You probably do.
At least one parlay.
Auburn probably goes into that Utah FSU parlay that you don't want to place, but you're gonna place anyway. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Tyler, we're gonna squeeze you for a pick here.
God.
Whip your dick out.
Over under 3.5 times Brian Kelly's face turns beat fucking red in the first quarter. Give me the over. My money's not going anywhere near this game. The TV remote's not going anywhere near this fucking game. Keep me away from it. I don't want to watch it. You got to make me pick a side. I'm not going to. Pull the trigger. Kill me. I'm out. Let's go to another one that's like, I don't know. It's worth a look strictly because they're pesky. Washington State is hosting Arizona. Arizona is 7.5 point dogs on the road. I don't really have a whole lot for this game. I think I'm just going to go with the better team in Washington State, but this is definitely something I would buy down to 6.5 and not 7.5. Just this Arizona team can be a little fucking troublesome.
This Arizona team, I deep dove on them a little bit this week. Fuck, they are exciting, man. They keep games close. And they got a star in the making. They have a redshirt freshman at quarterback right now because their starter went down. His name's Noah Fafita. You guys need to learn the fucking name. Dude, you got to learn the fucking name. The kid's electric. He is a fucking electrical plant. You know, fuck, dude, I don't even know. He is just exciting to watch. I got amped watching the fucking playbacks of the game, man. Let me find his stats real quick. 303 against USC, 232 against Washington, and then he played 4 snaps against Stanford. He went 4 for 4. His completion percentage is in the mid 60s. His average QBR is like 150, dude. The kid's electric. He's a star.
So it sounds like you're riding with Arizona plus 7.5.
Yeah,
it sounds like you're also the only reason we're talking about this game. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah. Well, Wazoo. I put him on there because of Wazoo. Because we've talked about Wazoo like every week, and we kind of like talking about them. But then I got into this Zona team. I'm like, ooh. I went into this completely on Wazoo, and I flipped. I flipped so fast when I started watching this kid's tape, bro.
I'm gonna pull a fucking great Josh move. Boys, what do we think about this over under? It's interesting, huh?
What's the number?
57
even
and
is
a
it?
half?
It's at 60.
67 or 57?
57.
It's 57.
7.5.
Give me the over. Give me the over. Fuck it.
Yeah. Wazoo
I'm
doesn't play
taking the over.
defense.
I'll take
See,
the
I
over,
don't
but
think I'm taking the under.
Bro, this Zona team went and punched USC in the mouth. They drug them to triple overtime, and they kept the Washington game close, dude. They've played 2 back-to-back really impressive games.
I think they blew their load a little too early.
yeah.
Like I said, buy it down to 6.5. Maybe throw Wazoo as a money line parlay. If you're really feeling frisky and you got a good underdog money line parlay, wouldn't hate you throwing Arizona in here either. I'd like Arizona to be at home for this one. They're going to go up to a cold and rainy Northwest. So, all right. Well, I am going to take us to a much, much, much more interesting game. It's Cole's favorite game of the week. It is UNC, ranked number 12, hosting Miami of Florida. And UNC is 3.5-point favorites. This Miami team is coming off of a back-breaking loss. They were able to knee the game out, plain and simple. Take a knee.
Oh,
There
my
was no.
God.
It wasn't. Don't take 2 knees. Don't take 3 knees. 1 knee ends the game.
No.
Their
Let's
coach
run
decides.
the ball and fumble it.
Their coach hands the ball off to the running back.
For no reason.
They fumble, and then after the game, the coach, when asked about it, said that the running back needed to hold the ball. I mean,
He's
if
not
you
wrong.
wanna talk-
He's not wrong.
not wrong. But if you want to talk about a toxic locker room environment for the week, there's your fucking game. There is no shot. I am taking Miami in this game. Drake May and the boys aren't going to let this one be tight. I think this Miami ball club is good. They still should be undefeated. But shoulda, woulda, coulda. They didn't take the fucking knee. It doesn't matter. Give me Drake May and the boys. Cole, let's throw it to you. Let's hear your 4 cents of it.
I'm in the same boat. Dude, it's, coming off a loss that was the most Bears-esque loss in the entire fucking planet. This game is going to be ugly, but it's going to be ugly for Miami. I think UNC is going to come out and fucking run the ball down their fucking throat. Drake May's going to sling the rock. Dude, 3.5 is easy. I think even the over at 56.5 is achievable. I don't think this Miami team has the mental ability from a coaching staff to even play with UNC. So fuck them.
Yeah, Tyler, you said you don't understand how this Miami team's not still undefeated. And I agree with you, because how can you not be undefeated when your opponents have been Miami of Ohio, Texas A&M, fucking a team that does the hyperlink doesn't work, Texas A&M, or what is Temple, and Georgia Tech. You better be fucking undefeated if those are your 5 opponents, bro. Sure, good for you. You're 9th in yards allowed and you're 16th in points allowed. You fucking better be if those are your opponents, bro. Good for you. You're 7th in yards on offense and you're 13th in points. Good for fucking you. You fucking better be if those are your opponents, bro. You have to go in and you have to play a real football team now that plays in a real conference that's actually hard to win football games. And oh, by the way, they have the number 2 or number 3 overall draft pick this next year. You're not winning this game and you're not covering the 3.5. It's UNC minus 3.5 all fucking day. It's not
UNC
honestly,
forever.
take it to
UNC
10.
forever.
Take it to 10.5.
Ooh,
Take it to 10.5.
All right, let's
Miami's
chill a little
dog
there.
shit, bro. But this is
Clark,
the
where you
classic.
at?
This is the classic. This is the game I get worked up about because I
UNC.
don't understand the line, and then it loses. I think I've done this like once a week. So
Keep that
Yeah,
shit
I'm
to yourself, then.
I'm with UNC. I'm with the boys.
E, you look like you want to say something, man. We know
Yeah,
Tyler
well-
won't go to you ever, so I'll go to you.
I'm looking at one of my other bets right now. However, Drake May is not letting not letting this Miami team win. They're smoking this over or this cover. Give me UNC minus 3.5.
The over could be interesting because
UNC
could put up 45.
Yeah.
Especially
if they all come to play. Don't we get what's his name this week?
No, he was back last week and he looked great. He looked really good. Fucking Tez something, right? That's the kid's name.
Yeah, I will be ashamed of myself. I didn't watch a single fucking football game this weekend. What a bum.
Can't be having that. Having that.
Felt like such a bitch.
What's next? Ooh, Kentucky coming off a rough loss against Georgia, going into, maybe the sweetheart of the year in Mizzou. They're not. Don't get me wrong, they're not going to be dancing at the end of the year, but what a Mizzou team that's come out and played this year, huh, boys? They're surprising people all around the nation. They actually look like a competent football team. Tyler?
Yeah, they've looked better than they have in recent years. And it's not necessarily the Mizzou team of old, but they are still not there yet. They're working towards it. Kentucky, in my opinion, is a beautiful, beautiful line right here. I love that I am catching such short odds with Kentucky because they just got absolutely boat raced versus Georgia. Georgia showed that, hey, we're still Georgia. We still have the best players. We're still going to be undefeated. We haven't lost in damn near 2 years. They let it hang last week on Kentucky. It sucks that Kentucky happened to be the guys that had to have that awakening. But, it's just the way it is. I'm going to take Kentucky in their killer rushing game to beat Mizzou this week. What's the line at 2.5?
What's that kid's name? Davis? Something Davis. He's electric. I love watching him run the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna really enjoy having them at 2.5 here this week. So that's where my pick is. Ethan, where are you standing here?
I didn't like Kentucky at all last week. And I think the only one on the podcast that day that said that Georgia was covering. So I'm going to go with Mizzou plus 2.5.
I'm going to have to disagree with Ethan on that pick. I'm taking Kentucky minus 2.5 and over 50.5 points this game.
Cole, what you got, man? Sorry we cut you off there.
No. I just talk out of my ass. This is an interesting game because I want to say they're evenly matched, but they're not in the same way. Oh, that was so sus. I'm taking Kentucky at 2.5 just because I think they're fundamentally a better football team. As far as player recruitment and the running game. This game's going to be on the ground. Neither of them can really throw the ball that well, if you want my honest opinion. But fuck it. Kentucky 2.5. Let's go blue.
Yeah, Kentucky 2.5 for me as well. Ethan,
I
love you. Thanks for putting this thing together so we get to talk stupid shit every week together, but you're a bozo.
Hey, you guys probably thought the same thing last week when I took Georgia. So,
hey,
sorry, go ahead.
I think we should recognize you for it. You had a feeling, you didn't listen to it, boys. You went with it. Good on you. But I'm going to take Kentucky at home this week, Ethan. That beautiful, beautiful checkerboard end zone. They're not a basketball school anymore. They're a football school.
All about dual sport schools.
Wait, hold on.
Big wave.
Is Kentucky the home team?
Yeah.
Kentucky is the home team.
Oh, I'm looking at this backwards. I'm going to change my pick. I was thinking Mizzou was home. I'm thinking Mizzou was home.
Ride.
It is a team ride. Let's kick it down to a game of the week.
I just want to say I love the over on that as well. I know Clark and Cole said that as well. 50.5 seems low. Maybe it's a defensive game, but I don't think so. I think it's going to – we might get it 52 as a total number, but I think this will go over 50.
I like it. So potential game of the week here. Notre Dame is hosting USC. USC is ranked number 10 in the country, and they are plus 2.5. These guys have been sliding down the rankings. Uh-oh. 9?
I got 9. Yeah, I got 9. I was really confused.
My apologies. My apologies to USC. Number 9, USC, coming in to South Bend.
Number 21, Notre Dame.
Yeah, and it's going to be – I think it's going to be a potential for game of the week. But, dude, whoever the schedule makers are this year hated Notre Dame. Talk about a brutal schedule.
Yeah, Jesus.
Like Ohio State. Then you get Duke. Then you get Louisville. Now you got USC. Like, these dudes cannot catch a break right now. They are up there for one of the toughest strength of schedules. Cole, what are you feeling here?
I'm going to say something because I agree with you about the scheduling for Notre Dame has been the fucking worst. And I want to say that it's because I feel like the NCAA is wanting to force them into a conference. They're tired of Notre Dame being so goddamn good year after year after year, but they're independent. So everything comes down to show, the money. We're talking about money here. I think that is why Notre Dame gets fucked every single year. Every single year.
Yeah.
But I don't like this game. I fucking hate this game because I'm a Notre Dame guy. I've been a Notre Dame guy since I was a kid. I think USC is going to win this game. I think Caleb is going to come out fucking hot. And it's 51% of the money on USC. I'm taking them at 2.5.
Cole, I love you. I love you. I'm sorry to say, but I do think your Notre Dame Fighting Irish are already eliminated from the postseason contention.
Oh, I know.
2 losses. I mean,
absolutely.
That sucks. I think they're going to want to come in here and play a little bit of spoiler against this USC squad, hand them their first loss. If USC goes back into Pac-12 play and takes another loss, then they're out. I think Notre Dame will hang their hat on that. And we've seen this
game
USC.
Day?
Maybe, I don't know. Probably. No, it's out in Washington.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Oregon, Washington.
But we've seen this USC team, bro. They've struggled 2 weeks in a row, and honestly, ASU gave them, they weren't a push over there, and they should have pushed them over. I did a little bit of a deep dive on the teams USC's played this year. If you combine and take the average, simple algebra or simple math, really, do the math. The teams they played would be 115th in yards allowed at 433.8 and 109th in scoring at 109th. If you take out the Arizona team, because Arizona is 47th in the nation in defense, they've only played one team other than Arizona that's top 100, and they're 94th. Everyone else is below 120. If you take out that Arizona team, they're combined 127th in yards, 454.8, and tied 117th in scoring at 33.7. This USC team has not played a defense anything close to the caliber of this Notre Dame defense.
Yeah, that was a lot of numbers out there.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're saying USC's not played a good defense, and I counter that with USC doesn't have a good defense.
They don't.
So I think Sam Hartman and that spoiler line you were following is a good thing to look at here. Sam Hartman, notoriously good quarterback. Sorry, Sam. I loved you. I love betting on you. Your Heisman campaign's dead. Just going to leave that as it is, I wanted him to get that light and that shine. I talked about him all year long. I got to bite my tongue out. On the other hand, you have Caleb Williams coming in, who is still, I think he's actually the second in the favorites for betting wise on the Heisman. He can come in and beat a still very good Notre Dame team. I don't think if Notre Dame loses this game, everybody looks at Notre Dame and goes, oh, well, it's just Notre Dame. They didn't even beat that good of a team. Like, I still think this team carries weight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think USC's defense could give them troubles here. I mean, like you were talking, they just had a tough game last week. I think I'm going to ride with Notre Dame here just one last time, and I'm kind of expecting to die on that hill. I wouldn't expect anything great if they got blown out. I mean, it wouldn't be unexpected, but I don't know. This game's going to be a good game to watch. I don't really know about a good game to bet, but I'll go ahead and take Notre Dame -2.5, but I don't feel good about it.
So I'm sorry. I know I did vomit a lot of numbers there. But it really just boils down to, like Tyler said, USC has not played a good defense. The best defense they've played took them to triple overtime, and it was a game that no one thought should be close. They've played all those bad defenses, and they still can't cover. They're 2-4 on total, or 2-4 ATS this year. They can't cover against bad defenses, and now you have a good defense, a top 20 defense. I'm on Notre Dame, and I'm really not scared about it like Tyler is. I'm wholeheartedly on Notre Dame here.
You can ride it alone.
Clark, where are you at, man? We've kind of cut you out here.
I'm the same as you guys. I'm taking Notre Dame -2.5. I think the interesting line is the over/under. Right now it's at 60.5. And I think both these teams can put up 30 points easily on each other. Easily. So I'm taking Notre Dame -2.5, and I'm taking the over.
All right.
Total of this one scares me, but
that don't scare me.
Good on y'all for taking it, but it scares me.
Ethan, where are you at here?
I originally was leaning USC. I think you guys convinced me away from that. I'm going to go Notre Dame.
I mean, don't let us doofuses stray you away from anything.
Join the dark side, E.
No, I'm going Notre Dame. I'm not like Parker. Parker would bet against them purely because it's Notre Dame, and he hates them. But I'm not somebody who has a bias toward any college team other than Iowa State. Fuck that team. But I'm gonna go Notre Dame -2.5 here. Going into the final college game of this weekend, we have Oregon State versus UCLA, a number 14 matchup versus number 22. UCLA is a 3.5-point underdog. And this game is at Oregon State, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So that 3-point favorite, again, that home team is, they give you 3 points because you're the home team at, a 3-point advantage. So you're telling me if this game was played at the neutral site, it's a tie ball game. This is a toss up.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's definitely going to be a close game. What do you guys think about this Oregon State team at home?
Yeah, Uyunglele's look, fine. He's not lighting the world on fire, but since he left Maryland, he's looked a little better up there in the Pac-12.
Clemson.
Sorry?
He left Clemson.
Clemson? Okay, sure. I don't know. Two pretty good defenses here. That takes me to the under on this game, 53.5. I love the under on this one. Cole, what do you think?
I hate this game. I'm not going to pay any attention to it personally. I think it's going to be a toilet bowl. They're both good teams, but they both have really good defenses. So it's going to be 3 and out after 3 and out. It's going to be a punt game. Fuck it.
The funniest thing is,
I'm not even going to make a pick.
The funniest thing is Oregon State's 4-2 on their totals this year, and UCLA's 4-1 on their totals. They're both over teams, but they still this game just screams under to me. Like, they both have good defenses.
This game screams under. This screams under, and my gut's telling me to take UCLA.
They have a
This is
better.
like-
I mean, their defense is better. So if you're looking at an under game, I mean, that's where it would take you. The only rebuttal I would have to that is they have a like opponent in Utah and Wazoo actually, and Oregon State played Utah a lot better, and Utah has a good defense. So it's kind of a good comparison. Good defense versus good defense, and Oregon State showed that they could win that matchup. UCLA showed that they couldn't.
I mean, on the other hand of that, UCLA lost to Utah. Oregon State beat Utah. I mean, this game's such a weird one. I'm just going to go ahead and take the home team. However, I will be buying this down to 2.5 and not sweating a half a point here. Depending on the book, some books let you go down to a solid 3. The book I use, you got to buy a whole point, so I'll be buying it down to 2.5. Do with that what you will, but I think this is going to be a good defensive matchup. It'll be an interesting game, but nothing too spectacular, I would say. So
I like that 2.5 with Utah. I'm gonna do that with you. I'm gonna buy that point.
This episode of Show Me the Money is brought to you by Tavern Sports, your place to get fun sports content, sportsbook lines and parlays, and of course, food reviews with Big E's Ballpark Bites. You can follow Tavern Sports on Instagram at Tavern Sports 2023, TikTok at Tavern.sports, and Twitter at Tavern Sports 23. Let's get into this NFL week. I think it's a little interesting. What do you boys think?
I am so disappointed in myself. So disappointed in myself. I texted everybody. I said, hey, the 49ers are 5.5 point favorites against the Browns. Hammer 'em, hammer 'em, hammer 'em. I unfortunately did not get my hammer out and hammer them. Now this game is 8.5 points on the road. Deshaun's questionable. I personally don't think he's going.
Deshaun's not going. It was officially announced today.
Okay, so this line is moved in correlation to that. This is going to be a defensive battle. However, Brock Purdy has never lost a regular season football game. If you think it's going to be a defensive battle, sure. Go ahead and take the 49ers money line in a parlay piece some way, somehow. I, on the other hand, have had the pleasure of watching DTR start a game for the Cleveland Browns. It was fucking abysmal against the Ravens. The Ravens defense couldn't sniff the jockstrap of this 49ers defense. This 49ers defense just made the Cowboys look like frauds. I am not going to be hammering it to the sense that I wanted to, and it was 5.5, but I will be taking the 49ers minus 8.5. I will be using them in parlay pieces, teasers. This is a very attackable line here. So I would say get it in earlier than Sunday morning when this is getting just absolutely pounded by people recovering from their college football losses. Get this line early. So what do you guys think here?
According to what I'm looking at right now, it moved another point. It might be
It's already up to
9.5 now.
9.5.
It might be.
Holy shit!
I'm checking. Hang on, I'm checking right now.
I think
it's up to
9.5
now. This changed in the last hour?
Stupid.
I bet you it's 10.5 by noon tomorrow. I wouldn't be
still like
surprised. Yeah, I like it wherever it goes. I got my total crew here. I got Clark. I got Cole. 35.5.
Hammer.
Early.
Over.
No. Listen. Early in the year, I don't know if the trends kept up. Cleveland was on a historic pace on defense. So we're talking about a defensive matchup, but the over feels free.
Yeah.
The Niners are just a all-star game team. They're a Pro Bowl team. It's wild. They're gonna go for. They might go for 40 on their own. I'm not gonna say they will, but they might. So.
Yeah, I have faith in this 49ers team on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And I think the Niners cover this. And no matter where the line is put.
Yeah,
on
give me
Sunday.
until this line gets to like 12.5, 13.5, I'll be on the Niners. And then I won't flip to the Browns until it gets to like 17 or so.
And a McCaffrey touchdown. Take it. every
Easiest
Boy.
money in the NFL right now. 14 straight games.
Ethan, you got a word on this one?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to choose a team, give me George Kittle and the Niners.
Iowa guy.
Again, Iowa guy. NFL guys, like, that's who I'm gonna ride with. So there's some games later that same way I'm gonna take those Iowa guys. So we'll get into that when those come up.
So let's go to a game that has another Iowa guy in it. Cincinnati at Seattle. It's a 2.5-point line, and the Bengals finally found themselves. They finally remembered how to play football last week. What do you think here, Ty?
I personally think the Bengals looked really, really good last week. They look like the Bengals of old. This is in Cincy, right?
Yes,
Yes.
in Cincy.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. The Seattle defense is good. They're not Legion of Boom good. We're never going to see that anymore. Not anytime soon. But Witherspoon out there is going up against maybe one of the best wide receiver trios in practice every day with JSN, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf. So
Yeah.
I think Witherspoon is going to get that assignment with Chase, and I think he's going to succeed at it. I mean, that's not saying Jamar Chase is going to get totally cut out of this game.
I think Chase is going to welcome into the NFL personally. I think Chase is going to go off again.
Yeah, but you do one thing with Jamar Chase, and that's
you're not wrong.
Dick ride. So
I have to. He's on like half my fantasy teams. I fucking have to.
Tyler, you want to do that again? You want to do that at one time? You want to do it again?
Clip it, Ethan. Clip
Flip
it,
that.
Ethan.
Flip that for Insta this week. Clip it for Insta.
So, me personally, I'm gonna take the Bengals, but I would almost look at leaving Jamar Chase out of your parlays this weekend. I think Witherspoon is up for it. It's going to be tough. It's going to be chippy. That's if, of course, they shadow him. I don't know. I would see if you can look into that. I don't know if Seattle and Pete Carroll shadow guys a lot, but I will personally be taking the Bengals, but I think this one could be really interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Gino and the boys show up and the Bengals we've seen the first 5 weeks show up and just shit the bed. So go ahead and give me the Bengals, but I'm not really happy about it.
Clark, where are you at here, bud?
I'm in the same boat as Tyler here. I want to take the Bengals, and it's not easy to take the Bengals. But I did watch them destroy my Cardinals, or Jamar destroy my Cardinals, I should say. But where is this line at again?
But your Cardinals look better than everyone thought they would be. I'll give them credit.
Well, that is true. Our defense is probably top 15, maybe. We could be top 15. If Jamar does what he did last week, give me the Bengals. But as of right now, I'm going to take the Seahawks plus 2.5. I'm going to be different.
I don't hate it.
I'm right there with you. I think that Jamar is going to get locked up. I don't think he's going to have nearly the week that he had last week. I think I'm taking Seattle plus 2.5. 2-0 on the road. They're 3-1-0 against the spread so far. Bengals are only 1-3-1. Kind of hard to put money on a team that doesn't cover.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I need to see you prove it again before I really love betting on you. I mean, if anything, I probably wouldn't use this as a parlay piece by any means. I would do this as a straight bet. Either way you're feeling. If you like the Seahawks, maybe throw them in a teaser and tease them up a little more in case the Bengals do keep that offensive production rolling. But yeah, me personally, I'm going to go with the Bengals and not feel great, but I would just not count this into a parlay.
Let me say this. The Bengals did the same shit last year. They came out slow. They lost the first 2 weeks. Then they routed off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 covers in a row.
I mean, can lightning strike twice?
I don't think lightning has to strike twice. I think this team's finally figured it out. It's not like when the Cardinals came out and beat Dallas, and then that would be a can the lightning strike twice kind of thing. This is a good team that started slow. It happens.
I mean, we did see the Vikings last year come out and win pretty much, what was it, all their games, coming back in all their games, and this year they're just kind of shitting the bed.
That's a different thing.
It's a different thing, but I think we're in the same boat here with the Bengals. I think it's going to take a little bit more. I think last week's game against the Cardinals was, I won't call it a fluke, but I don't think it was as impressive being against that terrible Cardinals team. I think the Seattle team's a lot of bit better than this Cardinals team.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, next NFL game that we got is the Dolphins and the Panthers. Panthers are a 13.5-point underdog. That's a big spread for an NFL game. However, I think we're still all leaning a different way, if I'm correct.
I think we're all on the Dolphins. This Dolphins team put up 70, and then last week they came out and put up another 31 spot on the Giants. And this Carolina team, they had the number 1 overall pick that they traded for last year. They're trending back for another number 1 overall pick this year. Bryce Young isn't him. He wasn't him coming out. He's not him now. Tua's going to eat him alive. Pick. Yeah, CJ Stroud was the obvious pick, but we're not going to get into that. I think I can speak for everyone saying take the Fens minus 13.5.
Yeah,
that's where
we are all on the Carolina tank.
All right. Another good line this week is Detroit laying 3 at Tampa. I mean, Tampa's looked fine, but I mean, it's still the Lions who looked good this year versus Baker Mayfield. I mean, I'm on the Lions minus 3 here. 70% of the money's on the Lions minus 3 here. I don't know where you guys are at.
Lions minus 3.
Yeah, with Mike Evans being out, and I don't know if Chris Godwin is necessarily going to be able to test the secondary enough with just him and Kate Otten. I'm going to go with the Lions minus 3 here and be happy that it's actually still 3. I mean, I could see this line going up to a weird one at 3.5, maybe even hitting 4 by the weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and say, give me the Lions.
All right, and the last NFL line we're going to talk about, Philly at the Jets, laying 7. 66% of the money's with Philly. My money's with Philly. This Jets team is meh without Aaron Rodgers. Like, get a quarterback in there, go trade for Kirk. He's on the market. Figure it out. Until then, I'm going to take Philly and, an NFC championship game contender, if not Super Bowl contender. It's going to be between them and the Niners for me. So,
give me the tush push.
Yeah, give me Philly with minus 7. Give me Philly and a Jalen Hurts touchdown. Give me Philly and over receiving yards for A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert. I mean, these Jets don't have a terrible defense, and they might get up for this game to play spoiler, but I think Philly's O-line is going to be too much. I think they're just the complete package in comparison to the Jets. I don't think the lights are going to be too bright for Hurts, but I think they will be too bright for Wilson. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a safe bet with Philly here. I'm honestly really thinking a 49ers Eagles parlay with the spreads is going to be a good look this week. Or maybe like a 2-3 point teaser between just those two teams to get us to better football numbers, but nothing insane.
All right, as a bunch of Midwest guys, do we want to talk about this Bears game? It's 3 points against Minnesota they're coming into Chicago. No Justin Jefferson. Is there anything we want to say about it?
Bro, give me the Bears minus 3.
Plus 3. You're getting points.
Give me plus 3. Give me fucking anything you want. Give me money line. I think this Bears team can beat Minnesota. After last week, Kirk's on the out. Jefferson's out. Give me DJ Moore touchdown. Justin Fields over 1.5 touchdowns thrown. I think it's a lock, personally.
Yeah, this is really the first time that I think that we all like the Bears again. Week 1, it was excitement going into it, but they weren't good. And the last 2 weeks, they've been good. It's can they continue the good? So
Yeah.
give me the Bears +3 every day.
And our secondary is getting healthy. Kyler Gordon's back this week, which is nice.
If
Tyler,
Kirk's
give me your
there, it's a different game. If Kirk's out, I think the Bears should win this game. However, if Kirk's there, our secondary is still banged up. TJ Hawkinson's going to be getting plenty of looks. Jordan Addison's going to get his time to shine as the rookie. He doesn't have Jettas stealing targets for him. They're really going to see what they got in that draft pick these next 4 weeks with Jettas on IR. Vikings are 1-5, and they're without their best player for the next 4 weeks. This team was kind of a fluke last year. They won a ton of one-possession games. I think a lot of people saw that coming into the season, that it wasn't going to be the same for them. I don't really know, but again, can you really say with the Bears? We have looked better the past 2 weeks. I'm going to hop on them at +3 right now and not love it. But I'm going to do that and hope that we either have a banged up Kirk Cousins or potentially no Kirk Cousins and the line changes or flips to a pick 'em or something. So yeah, I'll ride with the Bears here.
I just think with all the money we spent in that linebacker room this off season, I think we have a good shot of going toe to toe with TJ Hawkinson, along with Brisker over the top, helping in the middle with him. And then I think if we're going to have a rookie matchup with Tyreek Stevenson versus Jordan Addison, I think it's going to be a really interesting and honestly a really fun matchup to watch this week. It's going to be a good sub game inside the game. But I'm on the Bears +3 here as well.
Ethan, you want to lead us into some postseason MLB talk before we get into our locks of the week?
Oh man, do I ever. It was a hell of a week for baseball. Betting postseason baseball might be one of the easiest things you can bet on, in my opinion. And that is what I have won most of my money on the last 7 days, honestly. So there were certain things that I did bet on, and I would encourage you to continue to bet on those. Money lines was not one of them. Rangers swept the Orioles. I didn't see that one coming. I don't know about anybody else. Clark and Josh, I know you guys were on the pod last week. We didn't talk too much about who was going to kind of win that one, but I do remember, I think all three of us kind of being on the Orioles over the Rangers.
I couldn't tell you. I just kind of rode with you guys last week. I don't watch baseball.
I didn't talk about it at all. All I talked about was my D-backs.
I mentioned that the Rangers had better starting pitching, which I think rang true. I think the big thing came down to the Rangers can fucking bang it. I mean, they killed the Orioles in all 3 games. So it was a slugfest for the Rangers, and it was like watching a T-ball game for the Orioles. It didn't go well. And so those Rangers are going to move into the ALCS for the first time, I believe, since 2011, where they continued to go on to the World Series and lose to the Cardinals. But they're going to have to.
Man, that was a good Rangers team.
Oh, it was a great Ranger team. I think this Ranger team is significantly better, though. And this Ranger team, however, is going to have to go up against the Houston Astros, who are in there for the 7th straight year in the ALCS. That is a long run of pennants. I mean, at least the chance to win. Yeah, at least the chance to win a pennant is just wild. 7 straight. So I think the Astros obviously have an advantage in the experience department, considering a lot of the key pieces for this team are the same guys who were there 7 years ago. It's still Altuve, it's still Bregman, it's still it's
all the cheaters.
Yeah, all of those main guys are still there, and even Justin Verlander's back with that team. But now you have the Texas Rangers, and there's talk of Max Scherzer coming back. I don't know if you guys heard this. He threw a bullpen for the first. He threw a bullpen for the first time last week, I think it was. Not for the first time, but the first time that he threw a bullpen without pain since like early July, I think he said. And and he said he feels better than he has in months. So there's a chance that we see him come in. We just saw Byron Buxton come back for the Twins for a game. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to beat the Astros, so didn't do much help there. But I'm really excited to see this Rangers team against the Astros. An all Texas ALCS. It's going to be really exciting. The energy is going to be really high. So definitely tune into that one. Clark, congratulations, buddy. The Diamondbacks swept the Dodgers, which
It was beautiful.
Holy hell. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think it's what a lot of us wanted. I don't think any of us saw that happening. The Diamondbacks in Game 3 hit 4 homers in the same inning, the first team in postseason history to do so. However, they are going to go up against a big challenge. They are going to face the winner of the Phillies and Braves series. The Phillies could win it after the podcast tonight. Currently, the score is tied at 1. They're in the top of the 5th. They are currently up 2-1 in the series. So I would like to see this go to a Game 5. However, I don't know if we'll get so lucky.
Yeah.
However, we'll see what happens. I do think still that whatever team wins this Phillies and Braves series, I do think that they win against the Diamondbacks, unfortunately. As exciting as I think the Diamondbacks are, they don't have the pitching staff to compete with either the Braves or the Phillies, in my opinion. So as much potential as they do have to grow and continue to get better, I think that it's going to be lost when it comes down to the NLCS.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to Alec Thomas. Alec Thomas is a hometown boy. He went to Mount Carmel. I played against him as a kid every once in a while, and nice to see somebody playing in the big leagues, getting his good time in.
Yeah, he's a good point to bring up.
Shout out Alec.
He's one of those guys that you can continue to bet on the over 1.5 total bases.
Yeah.
Or even the over. Sometimes he gets half a total base, which, that Diamondbacks team has been banging. So some of the guys that I would continue to bet on for those options, Bryce Harper obviously being one of those. Trey Turner definitely being number 1 still. I regret not taking him tonight. He already has at least 3. It's only the 5th inning. So continue to bet total bases for him. Castellanos hit another home run. I think that's his 4th of this postseason. So
they must have been talking about Israel when he hit it, huh?
He
Wow.
actually.
That was too easy. It's Castellanos to deep left.
He did hit his second one yesterday after they were bringing up, I don't want to say a bad thing, but something that was a little bit sad. So he hit another poorly timed home run yesterday.
What were they talking about? You can cut it, but I want to know.
It was one of the Phillies' old managers is in physical therapy right now. It looked
Classic.
he just
Classic Nick, bro.
He looked like he was in rough condition, and like sure enough, when the camera went back to the game, the pitch was quite literally as down the middle as it could have gotten, and you didn't even get to see the pitch before Castellanos was already fully swung through it and the ball was out in left field. So it was another poorly timed home run for Mr. Castellanos. What wasn't poorly timed though? Connor Bedard's number 1 goal of the season for the Chicago Blackhawks.
The Hawks are so back.
They are so back. They did lose last night. They lost last night, but Connor Bedard is still the highlight of that team right now. Game number 1, we bet on him, and he looked like a rookie. He looked very fresh. He looked like he was getting thrown around a little bit, and a little bit of a welcome to the NHL kid. You're 18 years old. You're still treated like every other 30-year-old here. So they definitely tossed him around a little bit in game 1. But game 2, he had a nice behind the net move and snuck one in for a goal, which I don't know if anybody else bet on it, but I bet on it. So plus 215 that hit. That was a really nice win. And I'm gonna hope that Bedard really keeps up his play here, because he's gonna be, that's the future of the Blackhawks right there.
I mean,
Tyler, you have a
speaking
prop
of-
you like on him?
Yeah, Bedard 4+ shots every night. Start hammering it now, because before long it's not going to be a value bet. Right now he's hit it in the second period or sooner in the first 2 games of the year, but dude is the entire offense. So I'm not going to look down on anybody who says I bet Bernard to get a point every night or whatever. Honestly, I think it's a pretty good idea. But betting on this Blackhawks team and saying this Blackhawks team is back is not the way to go. However, hockey.
What's the value at that, Ty?
I mean,
generally speaking,
to get a point, he's probably going to be in that negative 120 range to get. But that's either an assist
to get
or
a point. Really?
To get he'll probably be in the minus 120
I
range.
figured he'd be like plus 115. I thought you'd get at least plus money on him.
Oh no,
no, not to get a point.
It's been like 125 to 135. It's all been negative money.
Yeah, I mean the guy's on the ice just eating up time like fucking crazy, and he's putting tons of pucks on net. He's facilitating still really well. He is young. He's going to have some days where he looks really good. He's going to have days he looks really, really bad. With that being said, though, the NHL is back in total. Betting now can be profitable. You're going to still see a bunch of big lines before we figure out who all the teams are. The books are going to kind of say, like, hey, these guys were good last year, so they're going to be heavy, heavy favorites. But it's a good time to bet the underdogs. Vancouver last night at home boat raced Edmonton 8-1, and Edmonton's like the third favorite to win the cup this year. So, I mean, there's value in hockey. Do your research. What's up, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of looked at the games coming up, and as somebody that doesn't watch a lot of hockey, but I told you guys I've been trying to learn a little bit about how to bet hockey to try to give a little more on the podcast. So over the next few days, tomorrow I like the Devils on the money line. On Friday I like the Devils. On Saturday I like the Rangers on the money line. Sunday I like Tampa Bay and Carolina on their money lines, and then Monday I like the Rangers and the Devils on their money lines.
I love it.
I mean,
these are just look aheads. I mean, obviously we don't know the lineups. Injuries can happen, but if everything stays the way it is, they were good teams last year. I'll go with them.
Yeah. To just be like a buyer beware with Tampa right now, their starting goaltender, he's on IR to start the season. So things to look for. They're still a good squad all the way around. Their backup that's starting right now. He was the backup for Colorado last year. He only played in 2 games, but he won both of them. And he won his first start this year. So still looks good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to give you guys more hockey picks. Maybe look for those on Tavern Sports socials, because it is kind of hard to give out just once a week and doing look aheads. But
talking about that, we floated the idea of maybe starting to do a second show a week. We probably won't do it during football season, but once football's over and college basketball's kind of getting closer to the tournament, the NBA is getting closer to the final or to the playoffs, and NHL starting to get closer to their playoffs. We might go to 2 a week to try to hit more of these, give you guys a little bit more content, a little bit more chances to win some money. Hopefully by then we've watched enough to know enough to help you out.
I think what we can do to help them out. Yep.
Sorry, quick update on Trey Turner. He just hit his 7th total base of the game with a homer to left field. The Phillies now lead 2-1.
Wow.
The Braves.
I think we should go with what we can give them money on, and that is our lock of the week to round us out. Ethan, you're the captain of this ship. Start us off right.
Absolutely. So, just a look over what we have done so far. total as a group for lock of the week, we are 22, 12, and 1. Clark had that one push, but other than that, we have a winning percentage that is far above 500. So I would highly recommend that, even if you're not parlaying it, bet each of these games separately, because we are definitely still doing very well in that side of things.
You're going to fade one of them, fade mine.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'm like one game
with
behind
the
all
fact-
you guys, okay? Over a larger sample size, I'd be like a couple percentage points.
With that being said, my lock of the week, we are going to let's go up to Wisconsin. Iowa Hawkeyes in Wisconsin. Give me +10. I was covering. Yeah, I don't know if I need to say anything else. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I was going to cover.
I like it. Clark, where are you at this week?
Right now, I'm stuck between two picks, and
Give 'em both.
they're both alternate spreads here. So let's just start. Yeah, I'll give you two picks this week.
Whoa.
I'll give you two picks, two locks.
I'm not allowing it.
Fine. Well,
Pick
okay,
one.
then I got to go back. I'm going back. I was going to give you Duke, NC State, but we got to go back. I have to find it now because the line's going to change. Someone else can go while I find this.
Cole, let's hear it.
So I'm going to be a little bit risky, and I'm going to buy something down. I'm going to get North Carolina at 6.5 at +126.
Buying North Carolina to win by more. All right.
I'll go right
There's
after
no
that, 'cause
way.
that's the-
There's no way.
You said
That's
6.5
the
on
exact-
that? That's your lock?
6.5.
Yeah. I'm going to follow Taylor right there, but I've got it here at +142 -6.5.
Well, give me that because I use a different. No free ads. I use a different thing than y'all.
But
All
I'll
right,
tell
Josh,
you.
where are you taking us this week?
Tyler, how about you give us yours and your teaser while I figure that out, because I don't know yet.
All right. Golly, this is not a fun week to give out lock of the week. There's some tight spreads everywhere, kind of making it a little difficult to pick and nail down my favorite. My cash cow in Oklahoma is off this week. However, Kansas is only -2.5 on the road against Oklahoma State. I think I'm going to ride with the Jayhawks at -2.5
Ooh.
on the road.
I like that pick.
Ooh, that's kind of hot.
I like that pick.
What about that teaser, Tyler? We've hit 2 straight +9 units.
Back to back, if you've followed for the last 2 weeks, we have hit. I wasn't here last week, but I still made sure it got put out. This week, we're going to keep the trend alive. It's a 6-leg +8.5 points. We're getting Utah from -10.5 down to -2. That is strictly because they don't lose at home. So even if they win by a field goal, they still cover that -2 number. Maryland, Clark's lock of the week last week, -13.5. We bring them down to -5 against Illinois at home. Look for Talia Tungavaloa to absolutely tear that defense up. Another one that we get off of a big win, Louisville's only 7.5 point favorites, this 8.5 point teaser. We actually get them +1. Then stand up and salute the flags, cocksuckers. Air Force -11.5. Get me them down to -3 against Wyoming. Wyoming's a dangerous team to bet against when they're in Laramie. They are not this weekend, so give me the Air Force -3. Might be a bit of a surprise, but I'm going to be the one drinking the Kool-Aid this week. Colorado -11.5 down to -3. And then give me Iowa +18.5. If they lose by 10, they will not lose by 18.5. I promise you. I don't know if 18 total points are going to get scored in this game. So there is the teaser of the week. Just really quick again, it's Utah, Maryland, Louisville, Air Force, Colorado, Iowa, +8.5 at +450. Josh, lock of the week time. You've put it off long enough.
Yeah. You mentioned, my favorite lock in Air Force there, playing against those Cowboys from Laramie. I can't do it though. It's too many points. I'm gonna watch the game because I've become an Air Force fan, but I can't go with it. Who's Notre Dame playing again? USC. Yikes. Oregon plus 2.5. I don't know. I can do football. I can do NFL, right? I can do NFL. That's allowed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bengals.
Philly.
Yeah, Philly -7. I don't know.
Fucking San Francisco.
Oh, dude, I don't know. Philly -7. Final answer. I don't like it. I don't like having to pick this week. Oh God, Jesus!
That one like conveniently left out of the graphic.
What is Parker's pick? Did someone have that?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yes.
Washington -2.5. Parker's.
So you couldn't have gone. We couldn't have gone with Oregon for you to save you there because.
Well, I could have. I could have gone against him. I could have gone against him.
We wouldn't have been able to do the pod parlay. I think since we kind of persuaded and pushed Josh into traffic to make a pick that got shouted out of left field somewhere, we might have a chance at hitting this week.
Maybe don't take my lock this week,
Josh
bro.
Made a pick, but it might not have been his.
Pay attention to the socials. I'll lock one down tomorrow, and we'll make sure to tweet it out. I don't know. If you guys take long enough with the intro, I might switch again. Who knows?
You're disgusting.
Dude, these lines are fucking terrifying. Now, fuck it. Notre Dame -2.5. That's where I wanted to go. Oh my God. Fuck it. No, dude, I gotta trust my notes. My notes said Notre Dame -2.5. I'm going with it. Final answer. That's it.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for our podcast this week. We have a busy weekend, a lot of different sports going. Football, that is for both NFL and college. You have playoff baseball. You have, what else do we have? Hockey. Hockey's back up, and basketball starts soon. This is going to be really exciting coming up. So go ahead, get those bet slips in, and show me the money this week. Come on.